Team Jackson, what's happening? So I've been asked quite a few times to speak on narcissists or guys who suffer from narcissistic personality disorder, which is something you have to be diagnosed with by a psychiatrist. However, these guys tend to not think anything's wrong with them enough in order to get diagnosed, and for the few who do, they've already done quite a bit of damage on the women who have tried to love them. So as a woman, it's in your best interest to know what symptoms to look for, because regardless of a diagnosis, those symptoms can still have long-term negative effects on you. Now, contrary to the stereotype, it's not just a self-absorbed, conceited guy who posts a lot of selfies, licks his eyebrows, and fishes for compliments all day. Like, that's one part of it. But the single most defining characteristic of a narcissistic man is a guy who thinks the world revolves around him and nobody else's feelings matter. Like, on the dating scene, this can be the guy who ghosts you or wants you to chase him and put in all the work and prove why you're worthy of a phone call or an invitation for a real date. But the most dangerous narcissists are those guys who up front are knights in white shiny armor. I mean, they're becoming, they're enthusiastic and charismatic, fun to be around. The things that they want out of life in a relationship are all very becoming. But once they get into a relationship, a few months or maybe even a year in, they do a 180 into a complete monster. I mean, they treat you borderline, if not outright evil. They're malicious. They neglect you. They disrespect you. The way they talk to you and treat you is nothing like the guy that you first met. The most dangerous part of all of this is that women tend to blame themselves for this shift in behavior, when really all the charming things that he did up front, it was never rooted in his character. It was just to emotionally hook you so that he could mentally have that authority to control and manipulate you later so that you could supply his narcissism. So say you two get in an argument, or maybe not an argument, you just bring one of your concerns to his attention. It doesn't matter how carefully or tactfully you word that concern. It doesn't matter how patient you are to wait for the right time and place to talk about it. Not only does he deny any accountability, he turns it back around on you so that you're at fault. Somehow you're to blame. And not just for that particular situation, but for everything. Systematically, he attacks you on a mental level so that you question your judgment and the way that you perceive reality. Like, for example, if you say to him, it really makes me uncomfortable the way that you flirt with other women. It makes me feel like you have no regard for me nor our relationship. He'll say something like, am I flirting with other women, or is this just something else that you've made up in your head? Something else that you're imagining? You've ruined every other relationship just like that. And you're about to ruin this one by making things up out of thin air and then attacking me. That's the narcissist. Or if he says something like, only reason why I flirt with other women is because you don't show me enough attention. You're always spending time with your friends or at work or at the gym. You don't show me enough attention. That's why I flirt. I wouldn't have to if it wasn't for you. This is your fault. That's a narcissist. You see, by constantly doing that, he's able to lower your self-esteem to a point that makes you more susceptible for future mistreatment. Not only that, he subconsciously teaches you that you're lucky to be with him because no other man could possibly want you in all the ways that you are destined to ruin a relationship. Now, another thing that a narcissist will do is try to isolate you from everything or every person that you are currently influenced by or that you go to for comfort. Because if he can isolate you, then he can increase your dependency on him. And if he can do that, then he can increase his control over you and the amount of fear that you have that he'll one day leave you, which also gives him power to make you do things to keep him from doing that, although nothing will. Now, a lot of guys are uncomfortable with their woman dealing with other guys on a close level. But to a narcissist, he don't care if it's male or female. If he notices a close relationship that you have that's adding value to your life, he's going to find a way to throw shade on it, whether it's blatant or whether it's subtle. If you have a close homegirl that you're really close to and she hasn't expressed any discontent with him, hasn't done anything wrong with him or had any argument with him, he'll still say things like, you know what? Deep down, she's jealous of you. She's trying to use you. I'm the only one that you can trust. I'm the only one who loves you for you. She just wants something from you. Or he'll say something like, I don't like the way that she carries herself, the way that she's always going out. Is she starting to rub off on you? And the more that she rubs off on you, the more that you hang with her, the more that you're pushing me away. So at some point, you're going to have to make a choice. That's a narcissist. Another thing that lets you know that a man is a narcissist is if he treats you like he hates you but needs you at the same time. I was about to say love, but not love. He just doesn't want you to leave. Like, he walks all over you. He neglects you. He doesn't care if you're begging, pleading, crying, if you're upset, if you're depressed. He's completely apathetic until you walk out of that door. Then he does things to pull you back. Like, he doesn't want to treat you right, but he doesn't want anybody else to have an opportunity to treat you right either. Because the more that you squirm, the more that you're hurt, the more that you're begging and pleading with him to act right or try to get things right or doing things to try and fix the relationship, the more that you feed his narcissistic supply. And the moment that you get ready to leave is the moment you get ready to take that supply away. Now, the lengths that a narcissist will go through in order to keep you from leaving or to get you back after you've already left, they're limitless. He may use fear, he may use guilt trips and control, he may blow up your mama phone, drive by your house, he may show you flashes of the person he originally presented himself as in the beginning. He may buy you nice things, whatever will work to get you back into that cycle so that the damage this time can be even worse so he can have even more control. The only way he'll be okay with losing you or leaving you is if he's found another victim to take your place. At that point, it doesn't matter how low you're willing to stoop, nothing is going to make him care about the fact that you're willing to leave. And by that point, you'll likely have already caused quite a bit of damage to your reputation, ruined relationships in an effort to get him to care. And that's why every woman needs to be aware of the symptoms of narcissism. But just as important as it is to know whether or not you're currently dealing with a narcissist is knowing whether or not you've ever tried to love one. Because if so, then your healing process is going to be different from the average woman who's dealing with disappointment from dating a guy that she had high hopes for, but it didn't work out. You would have to restructure the way that you see men in general, and most importantly, the way that you see yourself, because both of those viewpoints were damaged within that relationship. The main way to tell that you dated one is if you find yourself after the relationship questioning what it is that you did to cause him to treat you so badly. I'm not talking about faults of yours that you can improve on to be a better wife or girlfriend or relationship partner going forward. But if you try to pinpoint what action of yours caused actions of his that were irrefutably wrong, deplorable, things that you never would have tolerated before meeting him, then you've dated a narcissist. Because that train of thought is implemented by a narcissist on his victim so he doesn't have to take accountability for his actions, because she does. Now, I'm not saying that you're a lost cause if you've ever been in that situation, because you're not, but you do have work to do. And if you're currently in it, then you have distance to create, because there is no making it work curing a man of his narcissism. And any effort to do so is only going to leave you sick. So, y'all let me know what you think in the comments. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.